It's a nice look.
Yeah, yeah. I had them for a whole year before I threw them on the first time. It grew on me.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Are they
Yeah, it was time. It
expensive?
was time. Yes,
Ah,
yes, they are. And I'm getting ready for my next round. My next round of glasses.
I saw a pair of Ray-Bans. I was at the optometrist the other day getting my eyes checked. I saw a pair of Ray-Bans that I'm hot for, man. I'm just trying to justify because my vision didn't really change. It was more of a it's a vanity project. You
It's
know
a
what I'm
vanity
saying?
thing. It's a vanity thing. It's
It's
a
a
vanity
vanity
thing.
thing. But
It's a
I
vanity
might go get them. They were
thing.
kind of fly. They really were.
They call him a name. They
You
call him
know.
a name. Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
all right. I want to welcome everybody to First Sundays with Black Poet Laureates, where we meet and talk to Black Poet Laureates from all over the nation. Today, we are joined by two amazing gentlemen, and one is in up north, and I always forget what city it is.
I'm south of Boston, in a town called Randolph. I came from a town called Medford, which is about the same distance north of Boston.
All right,
You know,
and
Tufts University. I always say Tufts University because
Tufts.
people
Okay,
know
I
Tufts.
know what
So
Tufts
Yeah,
is.
you know,
yeah, 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 yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
Um,
where
Makes
that's
sense. Makes
I
sense.
could throw a stone and break every window at Tufts. So
so Terry E. Carter is joining us as Poet Laureate Emeritus of Medford, Massachusetts. And we have the current Poet Laureate of the city of Knoxville, Mr. Joseph Woods, who goes by Black
I love
Atticus.
it.
Hey, hey, hey.
We are going to just have a little conversation today, find out what's going on in their worlds. I know they both have projects that they want to talk to you guys about. And we're going to just have some conversation, hear some poems, and then we're going to get out of here. But I love doing these first Sundays. I love being able to connect with people all over the nation. So this is good times, good times. I'm going to be your host tonight. My name's Rhea Carmen, and I am the appointed leader of this group of Black Poet Laureates. And I enjoy it. I enjoy working with poets, and this has been just a ton of fun. So let's jump right in, gentlemen. What have you been up to? So we'll go ahead and let Terry start and tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world.
Yeah, it's been a busy time, and even with leaving my post as the standing poet laureate of Medford in July. The last 6 months have been, they've been pretty nice. They've been pretty good. A lot of appearances, speaking engagements, so on and so forth. I published again in October, Novemberish. So here's my newest, latest. This is my sixth, and it's called Brown Skin in the Brilliant Sun of Poets Opus. And I like this book a lot. I like this book a lot. If you got multiple children, you never say which one you like the best. Well, having multiple books, I think I'm getting to probably the most mature place in my voice as a poet.
Okay.
And I'm an older brother. I'm not going to disclose any more than that. But but my voice feels mature. I feel more in control of what I want to say and how I want to say it than I ever have before. And I think I have more different ways to go at this thing than I ever used to. The one other thing that's kind of cool on the horizon is I have a little band that I work with called the Ally Project. Three white guys, three down white guys, and we meet at the intersection of jazz and social justice.
Love
So
that.
we just released a CD called the Ally Project. So a lot of the poetry that's in this last book was actually came out of that project. So now I
Okay.
have it on paper, but I also have it on wax, so to speak. And so we just getting the marketing and the branding and all of that, getting all that together so we can get that out. And we're going to do a book release in early February. And so that's happening too. So that really has kept me kind of busy.
Good stuff. All right. And what about you, Mr. Woods? What you got going on in your world?
Well, I'm sure, but I had a project. I have a project coming out. The first one's going to be more music based, and the title was pending, but now I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call it uh never mind, it's still pending. But it's gonna be music. It's gonna be music that I've been sitting on for too long, and definitely some new songs. We're always working. Me and the Good Guy Collective, which is the right now the kind of like the community voice, the hip hop voice, and doing that. Po Boys and Poets is still going strong in Nashville. I'm gonna revive it here in Knoxville. Um, but of course, my main delay with those is I just had a loss in the family. Just lost my father December 21st, and that's really kind of been taken over. But I have been feeling more inspired to make a project dedicated to both of them. So my next album already know what that's gonna be dedicated to my mom and my father, and it's gonna be called the Crimson, the Dream Traveler and the Crimson Sun. So I
Okay.
can't wait to finish that. And as far as writing, as far as book wise, I just now feel like my writing is mature enough to actually put down on paper because I'm very, very critical about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
written word, spoken word and written word, when they meet together, saying it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, feeling real solid about that. Can't wait to share more work and art than I ever have this year.
Awesome.
That
Awesome. Wow. So it's really kind of unique to have both of you on here because both of you play around so well at that intersection of the poems and the music. So let's talk a little bit about how do you feel people receive um, that connection of poetry and music,
Mhm.
and how you use it to do the work that you're doing in your communities.
Mhm.
Mm, mm.
Mhm.
Man, that's a beautiful question.
It is. It is. He always asks good ones, Black. He
Yeah, yeah,
always
yeah,
does.
yeah, yeah. She always do. She always do. Yeah. I'll let you start with
I'm
this one.
getting good at my interview skills because
Yeah,
I
the
got a podcast.
skills are getting cold. Skills
Yes,
getting cold.
I'm
Skills
getting
are
good
getting
at
cold.
listening and crafting my questions.
It's funny because I probably listen to more and I have to admit I have to do a little bit of it on the slide because where my wife sits spiritually, but I probably listen to more hip hop than I ever have before because the bars are crazy, and what I find is that, just trying to be informed on how to develop stuff metrically and how to develop rhyme and how to develop kind of a syncopated voice to go along with words because I'm a wordsmith first and foremost. I mean, I come up out of the book tradition. So it was always the written word first, but what I find, and most of us has find, I know certainly Henry, and I'm sure Mr. Woods has found, is that you got to be able to voice it. You got to be able to voice it. You're going to be places where it's not about the book, where it's about hearing the poet speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing about the music piece is there's a lot of people who, kind of they hear the word, but it doesn't really penetrate. But when
Mm-hmm.
you add that music, when you add that beat, the drum, the bass, the guitar, horns, whatever it is, all of a sudden it gets received in a different way. Um, you know, in some ways, it can dance in the mind in a way that it can't dance up off the printed page.
Wow.
So I think, and I'm sure Black will agree with me that the integration of music with the spoken word, it's just one more tool in the toolkit to
Yes.
to get people to feel where you're coming from, not just to hear where you're coming from, but to actually feel where you're
Yes.
coming from because the beat penetrates. The words don't, we think they do because we, as poets, we got egos. And we think that the word is going to penetrate all the time. But sometimes the music penetrates first and it makes way for the words to come behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And that's why, having this introduction to the whole jazz poetry experience that I've been having over the last couple of years, and now starting to kind of reformulate some plans that I had about how I was going to introduce different poetry. It's kind of opening up a whole new world for me, and I think it's opening up a whole new world for the people that kind of like what I do. So that's how I see it.
Yes, that was very well said. Very well said. I find that the like you were saying a lot with the as you increase, I think about everything as far as vibration. You know what I'm saying? So like if I'm running a rhyme a cappella, and I was not doing that as much until I started getting into spoken word and understanding that both have a very different kind of rhythm. Like poetry to me, spoken word is to me is it's the natural rhythm of conversation. And it's not so driven by the pentameter or by the count as much as rap and hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I came from that school where rhyming off beat is against the religion, but it's interesting when you learn the rules and you can decide when you want to break them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like the marriage between poetry and rhymes are so close. And then of course, like he said, when you add the bass and you add the sonic, I realize that when it comes to music, I don't expect. I guess I feel like there's. I keep in mind when I'm making a song, there's like at least three different types of listeners. One in particular is only driven by the beat, and so they'll catch the word subconsciously later. They'll play it over and over. If you did it right, they'll play it over and over, and then eventually they find themselves saying it. Then you have those who strictly pay attention to the words. That's your more scrupulous, you know what I'm saying? Like they're checking your rhyme, they're checking to see if you got any bars, checking to see if it's like, how well it's done. And then you got the third listener who can take it all in at one time.
Right.
Yeah. And so I keep all three of those in mind when I'm doing a song, or when I'm putting work out that way that you might catch on later.
Yeah.
And then you can tell the difference. Some just get moved, and especially depending on the space. I know in spoken word poets, we all know, like if you're doing a spoken word in a coffee shop, it's gonna be you versus the espresso machine. It's like you versus whatever is going on. If it's an intimate space, we all know we don't even need the mic, right? But when you're in a loud venue and it's really large, yeah, the bass and the drums are going to take over, and in that moment, it's just like it's our job to be in sync with it. And so, with the work I'm putting out next, I've gotten to the point where it's like I just want to make sure it's something that I want to say, and if it's something that I want to say, something I want to yell or whatever, or a mantra or whatever I want to do, I just want to make sure that it's something I actually want to say over and over. Because you mess around and put a song out and people like it, and you never say it over and over, you better be cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like because I know a lot of poets especially when it's like getting into slam, and I ask them to do an old poem. First thing they say, I'm just not there anymore. They're not sure they can give it what it needs because they're not there anymore. So the challenge is to find stuff where it's like, I'm always going to be in this space. I'm always going to be okay with this message. I'm always going to be okay with sharing this vibration. You know what I mean? And so like, I have old pieces that I'm still cool with. I'm still good. I'm still good with that. And then, maturing as a writer, I got to say that I actually love editing now. I don't see editing as like, there's something wrong with the first part. I see editing as like, how do you make it cooler?
Refinement.
All we're doing is making it cooler.
Refinement.
All we're doing is cool. It can definitely be doper. And so, I have no problem with editing now. I love the chance to do it. And so I just that and how it meets community, of course, let's just be real. the black audience is possibly the hardest one to please. And 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
they don't, and my thing is, if you've done your research, you understand why. Because we've been lied to so much.
Oh my gosh.
We've been lied to so much, and we've had so much. I mean, come on. I mean, like, voices you used to trust, and then you find, like, oh, they not living what they saying, or they ain't really standing by what they saying. This thing they got us yelling and whatever. And so yeah, that audience really expects content that they can immediately relate to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not an easy task all the time. I feel like it keeps you honest. It keeps you close, and you got to keep your ear to the ground. Like you said, I'm listening to a lot more. I'm listening to a lot more hip hop, old school, new school. I'm listening to trap music. I'm listening to drill. I'm listening to to the UK. I'm listening to a lot of trap, and all its various versions. All its various versions. Just because it's like, I understand that whatever you're putting out next, I gotta understand that most of my audience has a Spotify playlist that's probably leagues deep, and there's a lot of vibrations that they're taking in, and so it's just like, well, what am I adding to that pool of vibrations?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I want to make sure that it's my most authentic self, and I gotta say, if you haven't read it, read the music chapter in 1619. You'll
Oh yeah,
you'll
it's good
really
stuff.
you'll really get. I felt like after reading that, I felt more valid. I felt validated in how different some of my approaches to some songs. I've been feeling kind of weird about it. Like, oh man, this ain't really, what they doing. And that's okay.
Yeah. It absolutely
It
is.
needs
That's
to be
really,
okay.
it's really, really okay. And then, like, the more you start hanging around, different types of authors, especially playwrights. And I think I was listening to a conversation one time between Seed Lynn and Linda Paris Bailey, and they were kind of coming to that age old cliche that nothing is new under the sun. And so it's really, really hard to reintroduce a story and it be like a totally new story. The only thing that makes it new is that we haven't heard your perspective.
Right.
Yet another love story, but this time it's from a fresh perspective, and I think that's the challenge for most writers, is understand your voice is always important.
Absolutely.
And the way you say it, you can't dictate who it's going to vibrate with, and I know that we can all attest to that. I've had people approach me, here I am writing about something that is absolutely from the Black experience, quote unquote, the Black experience, and you'd be surprised. I'm always surprised as to who resonates with it.
Yeah.
And who actually got something from that. It could be like I mean, one time it was like I was doing Blue Shoes, right? And yeah, it was like this 6-foot bald white dude, tattoos. I mean, like he just hopped off the Harley, man. He hugged me the hardest.
Yeah.
He was just like, it was like, man, I needed that. I was like, wow, okay, okay. So yeah, and understanding that we don't get to dictate at all who our work resonates with.
Exactly. I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We went to Bonnaroo, I want to say 2 years ago, and I'm a huge Toby and Wiggly fan, right?
Yes,
And
Toby.
I love it, right? Toby comes out, and if you know Toby and Wiggly, he's Tobe, he's black and black, blacker than black.
Yeah. Black. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, the amount and the diversity in the audience that was at Bonnaroo just to see him, like, it was packed out, and we're standing next to some dude who, like you said, kind of looks like he just got off of his horse. He had on cowboy boots and everything.
Oh yeah.
And he's like educating me, like, did you know that when Tobe was like 17 years old, he did that? I was like, what? Like, this dude's life is resonating with so many people. And it was crazy because he came out and he said, man, this is the whitest audience I ever performed in front of. And like, went in. It was a beautiful performance, everything. But You never know. You
Yeah,
never
no,
know.
no,
never know.
Ray, you're
Never know.
certainly right, and Black, you're so spot on that, because you go to a venue where where serious players doing this thing, and there's 6 to 12 people in there getting their PhDs behind writing about that cat,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you don't even know until you get a phone call and they're like, I want to interview you because I was at your show. I've been at 6, 7, 10 of your shows, hearing everything that you're doing. And I'm so into what you're about. And I
Yes.
write my thesis right now. Can we talk? You never know.
Yes. You never know. You never know. And
You just never know. I think that's
you
why
just never know.
it's so powerful what we do. My professor, God rest his soul, he's passed on now. His name was
Mm.
Art Smith. And he told me when I first took his class, he was like, I don't like slam poets because I can argue the point. He was like, I want you to learn how to write the inarguable point. And I was like, what are you
Yes.
talking about? He said,
I
right.
can argue with your poem.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's like, you're a
Yes.
black woman. You should be able to write a poem about being a black woman so well that in a room full of skinheads, they still have to be like, but we understand.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that they
Yeah. Yeah.
cannot argue with
Yeah.
you because
Yeah.
you put your experience into that
Yes.
so well, you can't argue with your experience. So you have to
Yeah.
put yourself into the point.
I
Yeah.
love
Make
that.
it make it completely undebatable
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to argue if somebody successfully puts you in their shoes. How do you
Yeah.
argue with that?
Yeah.
You
Like,
can't
oh
argue
man,
with someone
it's
else's story.
you
That's it.
cannot argue with someone else's story.
Yeah.
And you're right. And I think where it keeps you from being like, generalized, I think more so I think a great example would be Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Like you can go to any one of his verses. None of them are dated.
None.
None of them are dated.
None.
There's nothing he says that isn't just straight up human experience, no matter what
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
time frame you're in, because he doesn't date his rhyme.
Right.
And like I love that. I love that about the writing. I feel that way about a lot of Saul's work. Um, that's always been really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, and so yeah, no, it's I don't know, it's something that we strive for, and I've been blessed in this lifetime to have artists of different disciplines who don't just skim the surface with the craft, like they really dig in.
Mhm.
And Rhea is absolutely one of those artists, but it's more as like, she was the one who kind of pushed me into actually getting into coaching. And once you start taking that role on, I feel like that, when you're digging in, poets reading this stuff, and you got to ask them when they're done. Hey,
Yeah.
so what was the point? And they go, huh? I'm like, yeah, it was. I mean,
Why'd you write that line?
why'd you write that line? Yeah,
Mhm.
like what do you want us to get from it? And now we're getting past, that first draft. Okay, cool. But
Mhm.
then it's like, as an artist, as an artist, a presenter, as a creator, we're not writing for fish or dogs or bugs. We're writing for humans.
Right.
And so it's like, what do you want humans to get from this? And then it's beautiful watching them have that light bulb moment. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I was being timid. I didn't just say exactly what this was. I was being too metaphorical. I was being too, what I mean? Like this,
Mhm.
not just saying it. And so that's always been refreshing to get to that point. But I do feel like I'm at this point now where um, I don't just want to teach, because they say teaching is one thing, and I think if you get too comfortable with just teaching, you forget that sometimes you gotta get off the bench and show them you can still do
That's
the
right.
360
That's right.
tomahawk
Still got the
dunk. You can
game.
still
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, I still do crossover, break your ankle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you still
Don't
gotta
get it
get there.
twisted.
I mean, yeah, and it's not for them; it's for you.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
forget that you are still cold. You still burning up a little bit out here in these streets. So it's just like that's what the I guess what's been freeing about this latest work.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna try not to let it get in the way, but I'm looking at releasing a single that I actually got to do. Actually got to get my uncle on, and my uncle, his name's Earl Coquit. He was one of the he was in the first black metal rock band in Knoxville,
Oh snap.
and yeah, they were called the Exit Band. and I'm looking to pull their story out as I, of course, appreciate Black history. That is local Black history, and he was impressed with the work that me and my cousin Bush and the good guys were doing when we had the theorist. He got real impressed with the theorist stuff, and he's just one of those guys where it's like it's hard to get a compliment from him.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because him and his team went hard. Like they practiced for 3 years before they did one show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they practiced. They practiced to make sure they was cold before they even touched stage. So, when you got that kind of discipline, it is hard to get a compliment. So I was glad to know he was feeling it, and that he was I was honored to have him on it. And I'm going to release that first single. I was hoping about my birthday. Wasn't expecting pops, but I don't think that I'm doing I think it'd still be a good honor to go ahead and drop that. Like let them know this is still going to work. But I only bring that up because everything I'm saying in that rhyme is exactly where I am right now in life. I don't sound like a 22-year-old or some grown dude trying to sound like no, that's it's grown. That's where we are right now.
Okay.
And yeah. Let's do it.
I love it.
Let's do it. So I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, now I know everybody wants to hear some poetry. We had talked about rhythm and the musicality of what you all do. So now we want to hear something. So who's gonna go first?
Ooh, man, oh man.
I mean,
Let's go, Fish Guy.
I'm so
Let's go, Fish Guy.
anxious. I'm so anxious to hear you, man. I really am. I really am. I mean, I'll go, but just know, right?
Okay.
I'm here for you, man. I came.
Oh, I appreciate it, bro.
All
I appreciate it. I feel the same way, man. I feel the same way.
So
especially working with jazz, that ain't no joke.
I want to do a couple pieces from my new book. I want to start with a piece called Black Seeds. Part of the problem is that many of you can only take the black thing in very small doses. You don't want no protesting, no addressing, and no investing. You need that Aunt Jemima black, that Uncle Ben's black, that Stepin Fetchit black, that Clarence Thomas black, that Booker T black, that In Denial black, that unapologetically black. You kind of thrown by that Nina Simone black, by that James Baldwin black, by that Muhammad Ali black, by that Du Bois black, by that Toni Morrison black, by that Angela Davis black, by that Huey P. Newton black, by that Malcolm X black, by that Public Enemy black, by that John Carlos, Tommy Smith, and Colin Kaepernick black, by that straight ghetto black, by that self-loving black, by that slaves that fought back black, by that y'all can kiss my black butt black. We're not living in the politically correct right now. We're not driving on the safe side of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This ain't about humility and assimilation. This ain't about wholesale incarceration. This ain't about making folks feel comfortable. We're not claiming that people of color posturing. We stepping into the danger waters. We talking by black, for black, be black. Black music, unadulterated. Black literature, unexpurgated. Black art, uneviscerated. Black love, unemasculated. Black thought, uneradicated. Love me some Diane Carroll, but this ain't the Julia season. Love me some Claire Huxtable, but this ain't the Cosby Show season. Love me some Johnny Mathis, but this ain't the wonderful, wonderful season. Love me some Tiger Woods, but this ain't the country club season. Love me some Ray Charles, but this ain't no America the Beautiful season. Love me some Paul Laurence Dunbar, but this ain't no Cabin and Field season. The worst of your kind has got it in for the best of our kind, for our women, for our children, for our history and our legacy, for our accomplishments, for our neighborhoods and our villages, and our faith and our truth. You can grudgingly admire the superstars, the prize winners, the great entertainers, the champions, the high achievers, the big earners, and the brand names until the unforgivable blackness rears its ugly head. Then hate drowns out the love for Oprah, for LeBron, for Spike, for Denzel, for Jim Brown, for Serena and Venus, for Chuck D and Tupac, for Barack and Michelle, for Marvin Gaye and MLK. You want to ban real blackness, real black books, real black heroes, real black role models, real black warriors, real black kings, and real black queens. You're trying to bury us without realizing that all you're doing is planting seeds. And like the main ingredient sang back in the day, listen to the story the drums tell. Black seeds keep on growing. Critical race theory explains it well. Black seeds keep on growing. You shrug your shoulders and scream, what the hell? Black seeds keep on growing. Pavlov would instruct you, just listen to the bell. Black seeds keep on growing.
You better come through, Terry.
Dope. That's dope.
That's where we're at, you know.
That is dope. That's dope.
I hear you. Black seeds keep on growing.
Yeah. So, and kind of like I say, that's kind of where I'm at now in terms of I feel like I have the maturity and the authority of my voice to say whatever I need to say and however I need to say it. And it takes you some time, and I know everybody on the call right now knows this. It takes you some time to get there, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, maybe there's some overnight sensations out there amongst us, and I love them. You know, I ain't mad at them. But for the majority of us, you know, it took us time to come into possession of what we have now. Absolutely. You know, in terms of our voices as poets, it took us some time. I'm gonna read one more, and then I need to hear my man. So
I love it.
All right. So I'm coming. This is coming from a similar place. It's called From Pet to Threat. As long as I can keep you right here, close like a warm puppy, it's all good. You don't want much. You don't need much. You don't ask for the other thing, the better thing, the higher thing. You're satisfied, settled, and content. You'll chase the thing I want you to chase. Fetch the thing I want you to fetch. You'll come when I call you. Heal when I say enough. As long as it's about perspiration and not aspiration. About trepidation and not inspiration. I can't have you getting a whiff of yourself. Problem right now is you want to declare some things, for me to be aware of some things, to continue to compare some things to how it used to be. Problem right now is you want to change the place, for me to rearrange the place. Lose some of the strange this place makes you feel sometimes. That's not why we brought you here. Why we took great pains to enslave you, shared countless trinkets to trade for you, colonized whole countries to contain you, transported you across countless passages, continents, islands, and oceans. Our only thoughts were to captivate, incarcerate, emasculate, domesticate, acculturate you, all of you, to the nature of our things, our ways, our subligation, and our dehumanization. From whatever you think you're supposed to be, from wherever you think to wherever you think you can become. We created this cruel menagerie, we call it chattel slavery, so that you could be consistently obedient pets, and we could be occasionally benevolent masters. But more regularly, the prison warden, the vile and violent overseer, the filthy, leering rapist, the bloodthirsty lyncher, the malevolent mob leader, and the hateful henchman. Every device and every debt should have kept you from becoming a threat to our ways and our wishes and our whims. Problem right now is you want to keep declaring things, keep making us aware of things, continue to be comparing some things to how it used to be. Problem right now is you want to keep on changing the place, to be steadily rearranging the place, to get rid of all the strange this place makes you feel today. Now the puppy has become the pit bull. The fluffy fur has become the chainmail vest. The ears are pinned back and the fangs are barred. The tail no longer wags the dog. The lion will no longer lay among the sheep. You know your name now. You will no longer come when the master calls you the old thing, the thing that no longer contains who and what you've become. You've learned to love yourself. And it ain't no puppy love. You're a clear and present danger to anyone who would continue to captivate, incarcerate, emasculate, domesticate, acculturate you, all of you, to the nature of our things, our ways, our subjugation and dehumanization for whoever you think you're supposed to be, from whatever you think you've now become. All right.
There we go. Ashe.
All right. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Ashe. Ashe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ashe.
Thank you
That's
very
dope.
much.
That's dope.
I tell you what, you weren't playing when you put out this book right here.
Nah. Right here?
Not this one right here.
Not this one.
Not
I
this
live in
one.
the real.
Let's go. Okay. Where
Not
can
this
we
one.
get the book, Terry?
Say again, darling.
Where can we get the book?
Oh, you can get it. I'll send it out to you signed. It's at www.brownskinnedpoet.net.
All right.
And I'll put it in the chat.
All right.
Brown Skinned Poet.
www.brownskinnedpoet.com. That's where you can pick up the book.
.net.
Oh, .net.
.net.
Okay. .net. Let me make sure I get that right. In the chat on our YouTube.
Okay. I got it out.
Brownskinnedpoet.net.
Fantastic.
There we go.
All right.
Fantastical.
All right, Mr. Atticus.
Yes. Let's share some rhyme.
I'm with
Let's
it.
share some rhyme.
All right. Let's see here. Fed up, get the bread up, create the setup, and rock it till the wallet's too heavy to lift leg up. To mess up is expected, to admit it is respected. Now double up your efforts so the process is perfected. Affection be a patron is the only love accepted. Especially when you broken up to jeopardize the record for the record. For dyslexic when trying to decode the message. Imagine most successes are measured in second guesses or lack thereof, the hope and the fear. Oh gosh. The hope and the fear. Oh gosh. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. It's been a minute.
That's all right. Love where it was going.
Yeah, I love where it's going.
Yeah, man. No doubt.
Let me go on. I know for sure. Sorry, I was feeling excited about that one. I'll bring that back. This one here I wrote 2 years ago. Your Honor, this is more than baby mama drama. A woman crushed Wednesday every week has been Brianna. Her killer got to serve a death sentence with no comma. One was chilling at the beach with a pina colada while she was at the morgue with a hashtag on it. That ain't the way it go. Come on now, be honest. You reap what you sow, but you ain't trying to see that harvest. Swallowing pride ain't the hardest. Last time I checked, my picture 4 damn minutes with a knee on your neck, and then add 3 more plus 46 seconds. I bet you find yourself swinging your little Gavin like a weapon, because I'm guessing, ain't none of that cool talking about doing to others. But who did that to you? And just how blind this is justice if it hates my hue. Who, Lord? Please give them a clue. This reality is reflective of the choices we choose. Now don't lose. And there's something they don't understand. Living life with a permanent tan. Really hard to make a 10-year plan when your death is in high demand. And every Sunday they gonna weigh their hands, turn around and go slay again. All my sisters and brothers, like God do not love us, you sick mother. Don't push me. You know the edge I live on. Always driving while black with a dead cell phone. Hell, I might get home if I roll up this window, if I stop at this light, if I'm using my signal, if I act real nice, chuckle and giggle. If I keep my music civil, turn it down just a little. Life's a lethal riddle. You don't solve it, they'll kill you. Out in broad daylight, body cam on tight. Now, if my soul on ice, I know my fam go fight. Because all this been avoided with some damn good advice, like what would Jesus do? Living Christ-like. Would he have shot me in the dead of the night because I ain't white? Would he hit the 10 commandments like read my rights, get the thou shalt not kill, and still shoot me on sight? Hell yeah. The boys hella flustered. They made a law for the girl, but they ain't really no justice. I know some broke white folk, rather disgusted. They got a little privilege, can't see it or touch it, can't shake and adjust it, rustle up some more ducats. They everybody in the street, mad like because you can't pay rent, middle class diminish, race riots, murder hornets, pandemic, census, election year, eyes wide, nose open, fear shot freedom, and the gun still smoking. I said fear shot freedom, and the gun still smoking. And there's something they don't understand. Living life with a permanent tan. Really hard to make a 10-year plan when your death is in high demand. And every Sunday they gonna wave their hands, turn around and go slay again. All my sisters and brothers, like God do not love us, you sick mother. That's that one.
Wow.
That's that one.
Brother.
I love that.
Yeah.
Living life with
Well,
a
yeah.
permanent tan.
Well, deaf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you got
Thank
one
you.
more for
Thank
us?
you. Yeah, I got one more. Let's see here. Got a request?
You mentioned blue shoes earlier. I think that would be kind of good for us to hear you.
I did mention blue shoes. Okay,
Yeah.
blue shoes. All right, we go there. All right, wearing fake kicks and have you sick when they spot you. You better off in socks. Hide them in your locker. That bad luck will haunt you. Phantom of a side seat at opera got you mad, wishing that you had a less poor dad or uncle who was rich. Darker blue blockers, why that teacher make you sit in the midst of your haters and favorite ish talkers, trying to play it slick until they riffing on your sponsors. Let me tell you about the blues of wearing really whack shoes. This story begins with two parents who made it very apparent that there was power in the ability to choose, for they chose to never forget about being have-nots. They worked nonstop to keep the shelf stocking, in 10 years tops, they had the biggest house on the block. Needless to say, they sacrificed a lot. A little too much at first, I thought. Because see, all that hard work never brought me and my brother any props. We were constantly being stopped by the fashion cops like, halt. Now, we know you don't think them shits is hot. But there was no extra money to cop the new Air Maxes and Jordans in third grade. I was ready to trade my soul for what everyone else was sporting, that bright white 23 against that smooth North Kakalaka blue. It just kind of set the new rules of what it meant to be. And I felt sorry for that one dude. You know that dude, he came to school to imitation J's on like, who the hell is 22? Dude, and all the jokes that ensued. Couldn't have fun for all the oohs that were trumping them home with the Mo Better blues, had them crying, quoting Spike Lee like it's gotta be the shoes. And they would echo on and on in his head as he laid in bed worrying because mom and dad ain't about supporting the latest fad, not when their math would add to a roof over your head, a shirt on your back, and pants on your ungrateful. Which didn't mean anything to me when the other kids would laugh at my top choice voice with the invisible $5 tag. I couldn't afford the whole Adidas, so I had to rock the ad. You know the ad, the one with the 2 fat stripes. Tried the fat mark of the last one in, but it didn't quite look right. Knew it was on by daylight. One kid came back laughing at me the next day like, hey, bro, you had me laughing all through my parents fighting last night. I appreciate that. Thanks. Woo, what a shank. What a spear. As the jokes of my peers got colder through the years, and it really didn't help when mom sent us out with the sum of all fears, the same red, blue, gray sweatsuit almost every day for a whole year. It's like this nigga, like he allergic to name brands. What's going on, dude? I tell you this, dude. After a year, some things just aren't that funny. Now, mama wasn't raising no rich kid. Papa wasn't raising no dummy. And Lord knows we ain't dressed the best, but those who did were the same ones, always running the class, breaking a sweat, trying to cheat off a guess who's test. I must digress. Take a good look to see exactly who we was. We were the ones dressed in parents' scrubs of love. We were dressed in parents' priorities, sorted and complete, like you would not be wearing next month's rent and utility bill on your damn feet. No bitter would be the reality that would constantly repeat off of those cheap sneaks. Like, get a clue. You got much more in this life to do than wear some shoes, clothes, holes, rims, and things that have nothing to do with how your life begins or how it's going to end. So I must commend those two who never had a clue to help their boys define their own standard of what's cool every time they bought them those cheap, whack shoes. And that's that piece.
Yo, Black, you a real one, bro. You a real one, man. Ain't no doubt, man. You a real one. I love it.
Hey, appreciate that, bro. You are too, man. That stuff's cold, man. That stuff's cold. That's so cold.
I love it.
That is one of my favorite pieces. It really makes me think about my sons. Not that I buy them wax shoes. I don't. But I worry about just keeping up with these fads,
Mm.
and it's made them some very special young men.
Yeah.
And knowing you and knowing your brother, knowing you all's creativity and just commitment to life and greatness. Yeah, your parents did a
Mm.
good job
Wow.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
they
with them
did.
wax
Rest their
shoes.
soul.
With
Yeah,
them
Yeah,
man.
wax
rest their
shoes.
soul. Rest the random wax shoes.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. All
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
can't nothing about no fan.
So now, y'all know me, I like to pull stuff out. So it's a whole lot going on, just like in entertainment, right? We got
Hmm.
Cat Williams doing a 3 hour
Oh my
interview.
word.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
Yeah.
word.
good.
He done blown
Three
up
hour
so
interview
much.
tagging
Ah.
fellow comedians on, his truth and perception of them. We got the stuff going on with TD Jakes and P. Diddy
Oof.
and
Man, it hurts my soul.
there's always so much, right? And so a lot of times, especially in industries of creativity such as like the comedians, I think about what would happen if poets did this to one another.
Mm.
Like, what would happen if we just decided to be like, you know what, I'm airing out all the dirty laundry that I know about this poet. I'm gonna tell the truth. They stole that poem from so and so. They heard, and like, what would happen if we did that to one another, and why would you do that to one another? So I want to, kind of hear you guys' thoughts on it. Um,
Mm.
I am neither for nor against. I'm just here to talk.
Okay. Well, what one of my first thoughts is if poetry had the same resources and the same was getting the same accolades
Mm.
and poets were actually becoming household names like some
Mhm.
of these other industries, I believe we would be seeing that in a heartbeat.
Wow.
Um, I I think that when you look at these other industries where this is happening, I think it's just evidence the devil is alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
because these characters, I mean, I even go as far as to talk about the ramifications of even what happened with Will and Jada,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm.
I got into a conversation like about this online, because YouTube now is all about the comments. The video's cool, but I go check the comments, right? What's the conversation around it? And my brother's a real huge proponent of keeping up with Black Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Which is a whole nother kind of Twitter, like the keeping up with Black Twitter, the forefront of the conversation. Anyway, they was like, well, why y'all giving them so much slack? Why y'all talking about was it Blueface and his chick
Mhm.
or whatever? And my response is that Blueface and his woman have no 20, 30-year history of being upstanding, right? They came
Yeah,
out crazy,
Mm-hmm.
you
they
know.
did.
But
Mhm.
but Will and Jada have 20, 30 years of having our respect. And then now we have this heartbreaking storyline. We talk about TD Jakes. That only hurts not just them, that hurts all of Black America.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what they're being used for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's being used for as a tool.
Yeah.
And the ramifications of it is to, you know, uh, um, I do feel like if you talk about the white supremacy, you talk about the power structure, then one thing in particular, and I don't know about y'all, but how racism was introduced to me was first through a joke.
Oh.
It was first through some little racist, twisted little joke I heard when I was in kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know whether to laugh or not. I just knew something was wrong with it. And
Mhm.
the way it starts off is if you can laugh at it, you can definitely kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the more they make, because we're like, we're literally the only culture that places our celebrities up so high,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so and then these are the ones you decide to put on the world stage for the whole world to see, and this is how they judge us. And if you can laugh at it, you can definitely kill it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point. That's the whole point. If you can make your highest turn into a joke, you couldn't have done that to Malcolm. You couldn't have done that to Huey. You couldn't have done that to Anita Baker. You couldn't have done that to what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They don't assassinate you with a bullet no more. They assassinate your character.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't
And
assassinate you no more.
you know,
Yeah, they
you're
let you
so
they
right.
let you live in that.
And admittedly, now we'll do some things to help them, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
that's not race. That's human nature. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do some things in the natural that are funky, you know, and because, you know, they're students of human nature in a lot of instances, they'll say, wait a minute, all we got to do is wait for human nature to kick in. They're going to do something funky. We're going to get people to laugh at it first, and then we're going to start dissecting it so that they see it as
Mm.
not the foibles of human nature, but that they see it as genuine character flaws. And then the
Mm.
character assassination sets in.
Yeah.
And then the
You
character,
know,
yeah, then the
and you
character
know, like I
assassination starts.
say, Bill Cosby did some things. You know, he did
Mm-hmm.
some things. There's no doubt about it. R. Kelly did some things.
Mm-hmm.
They did some things, but it wasn't so much the things they did. It was the way that they could now take those things and utilize them in character assassination,
Oh
which
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
is
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
much more devastating than real
Absolutely.
assassination.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. It's so much more devastating.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, you take I mean, and there's documentaries on this whole you can do your own research. That's all Hugh Hefner was doing with his Playboy Mansion. That's all he was doing.
Yeah,
To get
Mm.
yeah,
people powerful influence and position to get in that house and do something stupid that
yeah,
they take.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they held it over them for blackmail. Get them to do,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they want to do. Like this is, I mean, I put it like this too. So, I was talking about, we talk about like, I think we have this kind of like, I don't want to say convoluted, but we have like this kind of like pedestal we place the past on. Like, oh man, it was so much better. I guarantee you, if they had TikTok, if they had Twitter, if they
Mhm,
had all the options we have now,
mhm.
they'd have done the same things,
No doubt.
right? If you could have 100 women hitting you up in your DM, 100 dudes hitting you up in your DM,
Mm.
it's a whole different test to your integrity,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
and it's not an easy thing to walk away from. And so everything said again, the devil is alive and well. We talk about like setting this up. If you look at the world stage right now, who would set this up? It's a dream. I finally went back one time and you got your little the insult of Black history being stuck into one little short month, also having to
Mhm,
share that with
mhm,
Valentine's Day or whatever, right? And
mhm.
so some of these characters I've seen, I never actually went and checked their workout. So one in particular I went and checked out is I really went out and checked out Ida B. Wells' work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have not really, really checked
Mhm.
out Ida B. Wells' work, I highly suggest you do it.
Yeah.
She was so on point, so on par. And one of the articles that she broke down was she was talking about the whole Willie Lynch, the whole Lynch era
Mhm.
happening here in America. And so what's wild about that is there was clearly an era of time where it was okay to get your lynch on. There'd be no
Mm-hmm.
legal repercussions, right?
Mhm. True that.
Okay, but what she was writing about was I feel like it got swept under the rug. She was talking about how, I mean, one in particular, this for my pro black, whatever. We forget that humans are humans. Every single person started off as a baby. And if you haven't been around a baby in a while, if you haven't been around a toddler in a while, if you put toddlers on a playground, they do not naturally segregate.
Right. That's
They're
right.
right. Right.
They
Absolutely.
will
That's right.
all play together.
Mm-hmm.
They will all play together. We'll talk about what people would naturally do. Okay, so she was getting to that point where she was talking about the psychological ramifications of people who really didn't want to kill people.
Wow.
And once you do that, not everybody was okay after that,
Mhm.
right? It really messed your head up. I know my mind would be messed up. If I killed somebody, I would not be the same. So she was calling that out. She was talking about how people weren't feeling okay about it.
Mm.
And then the other thing she was uncovering is think about a time frame where lynching is happening on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Who would be having a field day? I tell you, field day, the same thing that we're sitting around praising every day on network TV. We got all these shows about murderers,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you are a serial killer in the 1930s, you
Yeah.
are having a field day.
Doing your thing.
Because lynching was just popping off anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like it's wild what it makes way for, and it's like okay, so yeah, I can't wait for us as a people to really straight up, let's get past the surface. Let's get way past the surface. Let's get back to some realizing that you know we are living a life on a certain level of melanin,
Mhm.
and it is a very different experience, but it's still a human experience.
Mhm.
Mm.
Exactly. Exactly
And
right.
when you see like let's take what's going on in Knoxville right now. Knoxville right now has the highest rates increase on housing ever, and it's
Oh yeah.
affecting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's feeling this sting now. They're all feeling the pain of that. Like you can't afford to live anywhere,
Mhm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But what your boy Martin say a long time ago, injustice anywhere is injustice
That's
everywhere. It's
everywhere.
gonna happen to you.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen to you.
That's right.
Mm. I
Absolutely.
spent
You
a
know,
lot of my time
right?
writing about gentrification, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and about the destabilization of really, really wonderful African American neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
you know, and economic disparities and all of this stuff. Man, woo, woo, you said a
Oh yeah,
mouthful, Black.
yeah. It can be it can get to be a lot. It can be.
Yeah,
I just feel like the way they're playing it out on the news stage. You know, like with TD Jakes and Puff Daddy and
yeah,
all this other stuff. I feel like the way they're playing it out is that it doesn't just affect the people we're looking at on the screen. It affects you.
yeah,
Yes. Everybody.
yeah,
It affects you.
It gets us all.
yeah.
It affects how they look at all of Black America.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Or just Black
absolutely.
people, or really just Black people, period. It's not lock it down to that. It's how they look at people of color, period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this and my thing is it's also a side effect of the again the weird stuff going on in Hollywood. The weird, there's
Yeah,
a lot of weird, and I don't know about any other artists, but it has had me nervous to be so successful. I don't want to be that successful.
yeah.
Right.
Hey,
Right. I feel
hey,
you.
Yeah,
hey.
like I don't want to get a phone call from a weirdo asking you to offer me 20 million.
There's some deep holes, man.
It's some deep
Some deep
holes,
holes.
and 9 times out of 10 they'll do that to shut you down. I have no problem putting this out there. I feel like that's what they did with Jay Electronica. I feel like there's an artist named Jay Electronica. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
checked out his mixtapes, I tell you, this brother was coming out of New Orleans with a
Mm-hmm.
flow so cold.
Yeah.
I'm talking about he could pull together the backpackers, the gangsters, the
Mm-hmm.
thugs, the intellectuals, the
Mm-hmm.
scientific minded,
Mhm.
all in one verse. And I felt like he could have been the first one coming out of the South, and he would have ended up the king of New York when it came on the hip hop scene.
Mm-hmm.
That's how cold he was. But if you look at what happened to him, Jay-Z put on his wing.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, this dude he's married to a Rockefeller, or he's dating a Rockefeller chick.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't dropped the album, and by the time it dropped, it didn't have anywhere near as much. It was like 8 years after his mixtapes.
Oh wow.
If you listen to the power of his voice and his way of rhyme, that dude he would have influenced everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was going at the devil's neck on his verses. He was going at his neck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh
hear you.
yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
Oh
No,
yeah.
hey, listen. You know, authenticity is a straight killer. And so when they see it being absolutely authentic, they got to come for it.
Authenticity is a killer.
You
Yeah,
got to come for it, because if it gets out there and people embrace it, the next thing you know, you got a problem.
oh
I
yeah.
feel
Oh yeah.
like-
I mean, that's why they came after Malcolm. That's why they came
Oh,
after Martin and Medgar, you know, and so
Yeah.
many others, because it got too authentic. You know,
It got way too authentic.
legit and too real.
Okay.
Too many people's hearing.
Okay.
And they said, no, we got to squash this.
Hold on. I'm glad you brought those two up in particular. And I'll say this to my dying day. Martin and Malcolm were not killed for what they already done. They were killed for what they were about to do.
Bet.
Yeah.
If you look at where Martin was, what
Yes.
city he was in, and what his agenda
Absolutely.
was for the next day,
Absolutely.
he had to go. And if you look at Malcolm after Mecca,
That's right.
listen to the messages of Malcolm after Mecca. That's why they were killed.
Right.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
Malcolm after Medgar, he was coming, listen, universal. You
Yeah,
know, he's
yeah.
talking Catholic in the universal sense. He's saying everybody, every color, every creed, you know, every stripe, we gotta all be together, or else we
Yep.
all gonna be apart forever and ever, amen. And they wasn't trying
Oh
to
yeah.
hear.
They
No,
weren't trying to hear it.
because there's profit in the separation.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's
Oh yeah,
where
yeah.
both the profit
The
lies.
divide and conquer. If you most people who have been straight up killed immediately, they were about to bring unity, and unity is the antithesis, the opponent of divide and conquer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when you look at the efforts, you know, to stifle our voice, you look at the efforts to stifle the work, to stifle the image. But don't get me wrong, it's all the way around it. They're messing with your diet, they're messing with your image, they got you laughing at you, making you killable, you know,
Yeah.
keeping you stupid, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hyper stimulating, paying the you know, some of the dumbest, most destructive voices we have at our community. This is 10 million miles away from a Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
This is 10 million miles away from a Stevie Wonder. How do you get the Kodak Black?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you get this? How do you get what's her name? Sexy Red? How do you get from
I have no idea.
how do you get from Anita Baker
Yeah.
to a Nicki Minaj?
Yeah.
How do you go
Your
from
guess is as good as mine.
these are same people? We the same people, soulful,
Right.
heartfelt,
Right.
in depth.
Right.
We're the same
Yeah.
people. You can't
Yeah.
tell from today's music. You can't tell from today's music. You cannot tell where the soul went. Where's the soul?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
I mean, the same question that Marvin Gaye asked back in the day, he could ask today and it'd be the same thing. What's going
Yeah.
on?
You want to know where the soul at now? You want to know where the soul at now? Country music. You got country singers doing soul gospel sound.
Yeah.
They sound amazing.
Yeah.
Who's my Mr. Tennessee Whiskey?
Oh
Who's
yeah, I know about Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah, what's that singer name?
Sweet
Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah.
There's your soul.
Yeah.
Oh shucks, but
Chris Stapleton. That's it. Yeah, Chris Stapleton. He put in there Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton. Oh my gosh, yes.
Mhm.
I mean, I listen to country music, so I'm all about it. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
you got Kane Brown who realized it, and now so our black artists are going to country.
Hey, that's
They're
why
going to country.
Darius left. That's why Darius left
Going
Hootie
to
and the
country.
Blowfish.
Yep.
They go in the country.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's where I mean. So my thing is like, you know, I just got finished. We got a black group out here called War and Treaty. If y'all haven't checked them out, they're getting awards left and right. It's a black couple, and Black America ain't listening. I went to their show. That was hands down. That was the most talent I've seen back to back. I'm talking about talent. You talking about talent on tap? Soulful. Oh God, great singing.
Yeah.
We not listening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not being marketed to us.
Yeah.
And so, like, again, it's like, man, no, they don't market. They do not market them to us. Like they don't exist.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, they getting awards left and right, they are knocking everybody out the block because they sang. They sang and they write and they perform.
What I'm talking about.
And my thing is, like, I gotta admit, a name like War and Treaty, I assumed it wasn't for me. I'd heard the name before years ago. I didn't think that was for me. But man, it is. It's for us.
Yeah, they're amazing.
That is essence. That is essence. So yeah, I think I feel like, you know, I don't just halfway say it when I say the devil's alive and well. The devil was the art director of music, and the Lord is the power of the word. And I really feel like, you know, the acapella word.
Yeah. Yep.
It's unfiltered.
Yeah.
It's unfiltered. And we out here, and I saw that. I finally saw that interview with you know, on the Shay Shay with Cat Williams.
Yeah.
And you know, take it with a grain of salt. Not every single thing he said was true. Not every single thing, you know, stuff's coming up. But for the most part, some of the heavy stuff he dropped, nobody's denied it. And he did say something at the very beginning. He said it's going to be the year of the unveiling.
Yeah.
He did.
Right. It's going to be the year of the unveiling, and ironically, it comes back full circle. The Black audience is the hardest to fool, and they're the hardest to please. And once we catch on to that, you can't come back.
Yeah.
Once we know you Milli Vanilli, you can't come back. You can't.
I think it's why the legitimacy of this group, it's important to keep it going.
Yes.
Because if we can keep each other, lifted up, in playing in a righteous space, what we say can matter out there, and what we do can matter out there. And I'm not talking, we ain't talking, just like you said, Brother Black, we're not talking about getting so big that, that we're going on Shay's talking about this one does this.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about that. What we're talking about is a legitimate voice.
Legitimate.
Exactly. That has, some level of quote unquote gravitas, but it's saying enough about things that we actually know about, actually been through, actually experienced, that's common with so much of what's going on with our people and extensions of our people, because those people out there that not going to hear it anywhere else, this is the one place that they can come to say, I empathize, I sympathize, I'm in allyship with some of what's going on in the Black community. How can I be down, quote unquote?
Yeah.
And the only way that you can be down is to have some people who are legitimate say, okay, I believe what you say. I believe that you're going to walk your walk. And if we get into it, that you're not going to run and hide. Because that's what allyship is all about at the end of the day. It's about, okay, you with me when in the good times, man, but if it gets nasty out here, are you going to either run and hide, or are you going to say, okay, I'm not going to take sides here. I'm just going to sit back.
Yeah.
Going to get into it.
Yeah.
We're certainly going to get into it.
Absolutely.
Get into it with us.
Yeah. And I feel like us collectively, we understand the power of our position.
Yeah.
And we use it, and to the point where, we can really stimulate other things. Because my thing is that yellow brick road toward, quote unquote fame, is not the only success out here. There's some great successes out here that never ever had to go that route at all. When I think about bands like the Grateful Dead or Fish, and when I think about the league of some of the larger nonprofit organizations that I've seen out here, I do believe our voice can help stimulate the change.
That's right.
Where it needs to be changed. And I think like kind of like the Million Man March, right? One of the main things the government was worried about was how the hell they do this, right?
Yeah.
And the only way they pulled that off was through Black radio. Black radio was being ignored.
Yeah. Tower of Babel.
We weren't ignoring it. You know what I'm saying? I heard it here in Knoxville on KJams. Oh, don't get me wrong. They're paying attention now.
Yeah.
They got that. After you show a million Negroes show up, like, oh no, we got to cut this off.
Yeah.
Right? Because they showed up and it was peaceful. They had the nerve to keep it peaceful. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's why if you go a biblical way, that whole story of the Tower of Babel. I can't have them speaking all the same language. I can't have them understand universally. We got to put some dissent and some chaos up in this mix, because if they get together, really, really get together, there'll be nothing that they're incapable of doing.
That's exactly
right. Which is where I'm definitely in a point in my life now where I don't care. 'Cause, it's like if you really, really, really understand, I'll speak on it, man. I'm just like, if you really wrap your mind around, who the devil actually is, or that entity, that energy, you got to understand that faith is not his problem. Faith, he has way more faith than anybody you've ever met.
That's right.
Faith is not his problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? He'll beat you in faith all day. and at the same time, it's like, where it's like, when you look at the, if you're really inclined into helping, Black Americans, if you're helping the community, I'm always going back to this article I read in Time magazine, where they were going to the Middle East at the height of everything, schools getting bombed, and people watching people blow up, saying that horror, that however horrible that is, right? So they go talk to a teacher, right? And did this wonderful interview. And the last question they asked them was, for the world that's reading this article, people who care about this, what do you suggest they do to help? When I tell you this man said, if you want to help out here, he said, invest in education.
They won't do it.
Right? Because
won't do it.
he said a mouthful. He said a mouthful with that. What he was saying was
he needed to say
right then. What I'm saying, that's it. Because it's like you have to have a lot of ignorant people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In order to pull off this kind of madness, they have to be stupid.
Yeah. And and the thing is if we'd invest in true education, not creating, and you came to my show, the educational system was created to create clones and workers, not thinkers.
Not thinkers.
Really
not
our money
not thinkers.
into helping these children be thinkers.
Yeah.
Rather than followers.
Yeah. No, because
there's the difference right there.
And what's wild out here, and I'm saying this for those who are going to watch it and those who are in this room too. What happens with people who are highly intelligent that I've noticed is that you find that we will end up getting to self-destructive behavior, because once you fast forward and you look at everything, you connect enough dots, you start feeling defeated, because they don't care about the intelligent. They don't care if you get it. As long as the masses don't, they don't care about a few of y'all who can call them out.
Yeah.
They don't care about y'all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the struggle is on us to turn around and, like I said, your voice is valuable.
Yeah.
Your health is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Your presence is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Do not waste your time. I guess, like, do not dive into the self-defeated, self-destructive thing, because that's usually what happens to a lot of highly intelligent people. I see them, they drink more, they smoke more, they basically they hit the effort mode.
Well, because
they already see it. They go to Ozymandias mode.
Overwhelming. It's so overwhelming to see and know the answer, and other people just don't see it.
They don't see it. I mean,
you start to be like, I don't get it. I mean, you were at my show. That was the expression, because I feel like that's the problem is the education system is the matrix. And
yes.
All we're doing is using these kids like batteries to make money for other people.
Yep. I mean, it's wild. I think Cat Williams said something about that in the interview. He said, we say children are the future. Look how we treat the teachers. Look how we pay the teachers.
Absolutely.
Right? We can't. So basically we're saying we don't care about the future.
No.
Right?
No.
And it's like, that is literally, that's the crux of everything. It makes the, but it's like we're preaching to the choir here. We're preaching to the choirs. So finding some way to, now I gotta say this. Cat Williams did once he did that interview, you can go online and see it. A lot of young comedians that he's helped out over the years have made their posts, and they have verified that what he's saying is true. They had somebody walk up to them after they show and hand them an envelope with $10,000 in it. Because he was like, because Cat knows they weren't getting the pay they deserve. What if we turned around and did that for teachers?
Yeah.
What if we turned around and did that for, fill in the blank, people that need support?
Yeah.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, you don't have anybody in America, like all of your doctors, all of your lawyers, all of the people the police officers, the people that make America, right? Not our athletes, which is who we pay the most money. They don't really make America. They're just entertainment. But the people who actually make America keep going, our accountants and things
actually
like that.
Making this thing run.
They all have to have teachers. And the teachers get paid less than all of them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense.
That don't make sense. It don't make sense. And I feel like, okay, so I'm just gonna put this out here. It really boils down to I've been a business owner now for a while, and I I understand that I still make good money when I'm being generous still. Like, as far as like paying people what they're worth and paying people for their time. There are things that I could do myself. I'd probably drive myself nuts if I try to do every single thing. So I don't mind paying people. I think it really boils down to we have to really take on the abundance mindset, take on the generosity mindset when it comes to our financial dealings, because you can still make your money, you can still do good, and life can still be great if everyone around you is getting paid.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so
Some would say
because
that
the
you'll do
greed
even better, because the extent that the people who work for you are successful, they
You
labor
would do
even more
better.
diligently to try to make you successful, because your success becomes their success.
Yes.
That's it. Simple as that. When everyone around you is eating. Now I tell you one of my mantras that I'm proceeding forward with. I've been honest, but I never said it out loud. Is that I don't want to be a part of a deal if I can't see exactly how everyone involved benefits.
Yeah.
If there's anybody in the room not benefiting,
yeah,
something's wrong with this deal.
Yeah. The other thing is that the person who gets shafted, he becomes the person that purchases the AR-15 and comes in and shoots up your place.
Because you did not treat them right.
Right.
Right. And because there's so much propensity for violence and depression and states of mind that are not conducive to living right.
Now imagine this. What if, say teachers, right? You working in 5th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. They hit college, give it another 4 years. That's 11 years, right? Yeah. They hit the workforce. They got degrees and everything. What if some of their income trickled back down to the teachers for every student?
It would be nice.
It'd be nice. It'd be a whole lot of kids. $10 every 2 weeks from all of them. I'm saying like, as far as it sounds crazy because it hasn't been done, but it could totally happen.
It sounds
crazy. It sounds nuts.
The thing is thinking outside of that, outside of the norm, outside of the box is why we're artists, right? It's why we do what we do. And I want those type of thinkers to be what is the norm rather than the exception.
Yes,
like,
I mean
thinking should be the norm. Following should be the exception.
Thinking, should be the exception. Yes, thinking should be the norm. Following should be the exception.
And we just we have to get parents and the people who can make the decisions to start to see the power that these teachers have. I love it. When teachers walk out. You're not treating us right. The entire
you're not treating us out, and I'm out.
Teachers is out.
I'm out.
Well, you know what you can't do now? No matter how your principal is, you can't have school.
You can't have
school. When all the teachers leave, you can't have school.
You can't have school.
Because the principal only taught for half a year so that he could get the good job, right? And so he can't teach all the kids. He don't even know. He don't even know.
And my thing is like take like right now, never mind. We get to a loop because we had a school conversation because like I just found out about the whole they actually grade schools, right? Okay, so what doesn't make sense is if the school has a lower grade, that's the one that should get more help.
No, right? But see what happens, and
if the school gets an A,
we could talk about this all night because this is my soapbox.
The
school does have a low grade. They give it all of the attention. The grade comes up, and then they take all the attention away.
Oh, that's wild.
So
that's wild.
I used to work at a school. They gave us all the attention. We were low, close to closure, whatever the case may be. They gave us all kinds of programs. They gave the teachers bonuses every year and everything. As soon as the scores came up for students, they pulled all of that stuff away.
But that's
Well,
what it
not
took to make it
throwing it away,
happen.
but that's what
Oh
it took to
man,
make it
No, it's
happen.
a
there's some
catch. It's
haters.
definitely it's a
It's a
catch
That's
vicious, it's
22.
a
crazy.
vicious cycle.
It's
That's
a
a
catch. It
vicious
is.
cycle. Okay, so you know, like, okay, so y'all ever heard a Kanye West song Black Skinhead?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, yes.
Okay, so check this out. Okay, so you know, there's this thing for songs called royalties.
Yeah.
Right? When you register your song, you can put down, you know, the producers, you can put down the fellow writers.
Mhm.
Anyway, his first line in that song is this is my theme song. My
Mhm.
leather black jeans on, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. He gave credit to somebody's assistant who walked into the studio when he was making that song and they had on leather black jeans.
Mhm.
That's why he put the rhyme in there. So because of that inspiration, he gave that person part royalty.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
Even though
it was a really
even
small
even
percentage, but it added up.
but it added up.
Yeah.
They played
Yeah.
they played that song forever. And my
Yeah.
thing is, if it lands in a movie 10 years from now, they're gonna keep getting paid.
That's
My
right.
thing is like he does that a lot. He's been doing that a lot through his whole career,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
never know why somebody's on a song, whether they actually, you know, helped, you know,
Yeah.
craft the song or just inspired them.
Yeah.
But there's no law against it. And so at first they was thought they was like, oh, he's crazy. No, he's genius. That was genius.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
because it hasn't been done doesn't mean we can't do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? We can
You're
figure
right.
out ways to circulate the dollar. We can figure out ways to make it work. We don't have to wait for somebody else to tell us how to do it. We got
Mhm.
an idea.
Well, the
We
problem
can
is
make it
it
work.
is what is
Right?
needs and wants. And if you have everything that you need, why can't we support so that everybody has everything that they need, as opposed to continually to pile on and you don't really need any more?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
it's
You don't really need any more.
Yeah.
it's the Thanksgiving plate, and
Yeah.
you just keep going back and getting more. You don't need any more, and it's
Yeah.
somebody who hadn't ate yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And then you
Yeah.
end up throwing away
they might
half
be
the food
taking
that
a
was on
nap,
your plate. You don't even eat, and you didn't even eat it.
and you didn't even eat it. And they might be taking
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
nap. They might have, worked the late shift, whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. They haven't
Yeah.
ate yet. You piling on your plate. You just
Mhm.
piling. You got everything you need. Why
Yeah.
you keep going back? Now this
Yeah.
person don't have what they
That's
need.
right.
They
That's
wake
right.
up
Now they don't have
hungry
what they need.
because all the
And I tell
dressing gone because you didn't ate it.
Mm.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we went to great combo mode.
Mhm.
Thank
We
you.
went to great
Thank you for
combo
coming
mode.
on. Thank you
Yeah,
for
we
coming
love
on.
y'all. We love
But
y'all. We love
that's
y'all.
that's what tends to happen, whenever we have these convenings, is we go into conversation mode.
Yeah,
Nah,
It's a great.
this
Yeah.
has
We went to great combo mode.
truly been
Yeah.
a blessing,
Oh,
and
these
I
poets
thank
have a
y'all.
lot of good sense, man. Every
Yeah.
poet that I've run into in our group, is bringing something sincerely, is bringing something to the table. For
We do.
real.
We have some
Yes.
great poets in the group, and I love, love the time I get to spend with you all. Hopefully one day I'll be coming around the country to meet everybody. But
Ooh, take me with
definitely.
you. Take me
Mhm.
with you.
Hey,
Let's go.
I'm working on
Let's
getting the
go.
finances to be able to
Yeah.
visit all the Black Poet Laureates and get us into some sort of a documentary or
Mhm.
something, so that our
Yes.
stories have to be told. So
Yes. We can do
We
it. We
need
can
we
do it.
need that we need that retreat too. We need that big
yes,
3, 4,
yes.
5 day thing where we're all just together someplace beautiful, and we
Hey, you
can
know
just
what?
be into each other for
I,
You know
4 or
what? You know.
5 days.
You know what? You know what?
I'm gonna work on that. We're gonna try
Mhm.
and do it
Matter of fact.
at the
Let's talk.
beginning of the school year. I'm gonna
Let's talk.
see if UT won't host it,
Yeah.
and if we
Yeah.
can get the university to host it.
It'd be beyond awesome. It'd be
Yeah,
beyond
man.
awesome.
Beyond
Right.
beyond awesome.
Yeah.
Really
It
great.
might be they might be sooner than you think. We might get
Yeah.
that sooner than you think.
I hear you, Black.
Yeah. Ray, let's talk after we get off this thing. I got you.
All
Yeah,
right.
it might
Well,
be sooner than you think.
Thank you guys
Okay.
so much. Thank everybody for tuning
Thank you.
in to Poetry and Conversation with two great poet laureates who are taking the country by storm, because hey, that's the thing that we do. we'll see you guys next month. We will
All
be
right.
back on February the 4th
Yes.
with 2 more Black Poet